Hey guys, today for reading you're going to watch this video. I'm going to read a short story to you. It's actually not a short story. It's a story that's within a longer book of short stories about this author and things that happened to her during her life, so it's autobiographical. But I'm going to read this little part to you, and then we're going to talk about ways that you can work on your own writing today based on that. So please make sure that you watch this whole video, and then in the end, I will tell you what I want you to be working on in your own story. The House on Mango Street. Papa Who Wakes Up Tired in the Dark. That's the name of the chapter. Your abuelita is dead, Papa says early one morning in my room. Está muerto, and then, as if he just heard the news himself, crumples like a coat and cries. My brave Papa cries. I have never seen my Papa cry, and I don't know what to do. I know he will have to go away, that he will have to take a plane to Mexico. All the uncles and aunts will be there, and they will have a black and white photo taken in front of the tomb with flowers shaped like spears in a white vase, because this is how they send the dead away in that country. Because I am the oldest, my father has told me first, and now it is my turn to tell the others. I will have to explain why we can't play. I will have to tell them to be quiet today. My Papa, his thick hands and thick shoes, who wakes up tired in the dark, who combs his hair with water, drinks his coffee, and is gone before we wake, today is sitting on my bed. And I think if my own Papa died, what would I do? And I hold my Papa in my arms. I hold and hold and hold him. So it's a little bit of a sad story, obviously, because someone dies. And sometimes the best stories have strong emotions, whether it's happy or sad or excited or afraid. And obviously this is this is really sad. But you think about, it starts with him telling her that information, but it says that Papa says early one morning in my room. So it didn't just happen, it's in the past. And so that got me thinking about how part of your story might also start in the past and then come back to the future, or it might start in present day and then flash back. So I want you to think about how time plays a factor in your story. If your story happened a long time ago, then maybe you just tell the story as it happened, or maybe you tell it as a memory and you start by something that's happening present day that reminded you of something that happened a long time ago. Or maybe you start with this story and then you kind of flash forward, because she says at the very end, she ends with, and I think of if my own Papa died, what would I do? So she doesn't go into any detail about that, but she does make us think about the future. So overall today, your goal is to take a look at the narrative that you have so far, your small moment, and think about how you might use elements of time in your story. Maybe you can and maybe you can't, but I do want you to give it some serious thought today. When does my story take place? Does the whole thing take place in the past? I hope so, because it's something that already happened to you. So when I'm writing it, do I make it sound like it's happening now, which is okay? Or do I start now and then refer back to things that happened in the past? So just think about that. How can you use time as an element in your story? And then, could you end your story with something that might happen in the future? For example, in the sample that I read the other day from a student last year about the banshee, she ends the story with that she's going to go on the drop tower ride, but she also indicates that in the future she's now willing to try scarier rides. So that's how you can sort of use not just the moment of the story, but things that happened before the story. Like in the story that I read the other day, she mentions things that rides that she used to ride. So it's okay to refer to different time periods. So there's nothing to turn in today. You've watched this video, and you're going to open your notebooks, and you're going to be good writers, and you're going to follow directions, and you're going to work on your story. You can work on any part of your story that you want, but I do want you to think about time. If you're quiet, and if your guest teacher says that you can, you're going to end up sharing with each other in your writing groups. So if that happens, you want to make sure that you establish who's going first, and you want to take turns Only one person in each group should be reading at a time. You have to be in your writing group. You can't just decide. The sub knows who's in what group. And then you want to make sure that you give each other positive feedback. If you notice they tried something with time, you should tell them, hey, I noticed that you tried that. If they didn't, but you think of something that they could have done, it's okay to suggest it, as long as you're suggesting it in a positive way. Okay? So I look forward to seeing some of your writing later this week, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good rest of the day.